goodness, let's go make this bag. But first, always remember to share this so it was saved to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. I want to make a bag. I want to make a bag out of the little lady's fabric. So I found this adventure sling bag. It's a Missouri Star Quilt Company pattern at MissouriStarQuiltCompany.com. I bought it, downloaded it, and we're going to follow the instructions and make our bag together. Well, we're kind of going to follow the instructions. So it says that my 2 exterior pieces for the front and the back of the bag need to be 8 inches by 6 inches. So I cut some strips 2.5 inches wide and I sewed them together. And if I put 4 of these in a row, this should end up 8 inches by 6 inches. That's if my seam allowance is the same, and it's not. And if my quilt math is perfect, and it's probably not either, but it'll get us close enough, I think. I sewed 3 2.5-inch strips together 2 times. I ironed them, and then I cut them into 2.5-inch strips. Okay, so this is what we're doing, I think. Maybe not. Maybe this is what we're doing. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, we're going to do this, but we need to do this 2 times. So let me put 2 on here because I need a front and back of my bag. You know, we're always making 2 of everything for the little ladies, but in this case, we're just making it for the front and the back. So I've sewn these together, 2.5-inch strips. I sewed 3 of them together, and then I cut them at 2.5 inches wide. I ironed them and I cut them, and now I'm going to sew them back together. One at a time. I'm going to do that by placing them pretty side to pretty side, dun, 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 just like this. And I'm going to sew down this side. Straight stitch, 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. Okay, we've sewn 1, so let's open it, iron it. I normally don't iron as I go, but I'm really excited about this whole project. And then I'm going to lay it right here and pick up the next one. The reason that I laid it back on there is because I didn't mark my rows. And if I didn't lay it down, I wasn't sure I was picking up the right one. So we're going to sew this same way. Straight stitch, 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop. Make sure your seams match. Pinch it, pleat it, pull it, whatever you got to do. So cute, people, so cute. Okay, we're going to do this one the same way. And this is going to be, when we're finished with this is going to be the front of our bag. Oh, do we dare measure it? I'm kind of scared. All right, let me get a ruler. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. We are actually 8 1/4, which is good, and 6 1/2, which is good. Perfect. We are in great shape. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the back of my bag exactly the same way, 1 row at a time. And if I had read the pattern correctly, which I did not, I would have known that the back piece is actually 2 pieces because it has a zipper. But I just ended up cutting the solid piece that I made and using it as my 2 pieces. All right, we've done the back. Now let's iron it. And this is my ironing situation. Heat resistant pad, wool mat, Oliso Mini Pro 3 iron, all linked in my Walmart and Amazon storefronts if you're looking for them. Okay, we have both sides done. Okay, so our pattern doesn't say to do what we just did. Our pattern, when it starts, it talks about cutting and prepping the fabric, and whenever I looked at the size of the front and the back, I knew I wanted this. Look how cute it turned out, y'all. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, and then it says that we're supposed to cut. This is unconventional, but I'm cutting as I go because I want to do a bunch of random pieces of fabric, but I'm not really sure what. Place the 2 8 by 5 interior pocket rectangles together, right sides facing, so along the top edge. I'm using this for my pockets just because it's mine and I want to use it, but you could do some solid fabric depending on what you're doing your interior. It says place the 2 8 by 5 interior pocket sides rectangles together, right sides facing, sew along the long side. So we're going to sew right here. Straight stitch, 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when we start and when we stop, because my grandma said so. Okay, then we're going to open it up and fold it back over and iron it. I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to iron mine first. I'm going to iron it flat like this, and then I'm going to fold it over and iron it. Now it says to top stitch 1/2 inch from the fold on the finished edge. If you like, you can add some elastic. I'm not going to add any elastic. We might on the next ones we make, but the first one of anything is always the hardest. So let's just make it simple this time. Okay, so I'm just coming down and sewing 1/2 inch in. Do you see where I moved my fabric over from my presser foot right here? My presser foot, hang on, I'm not sure you can see that. My presser foot is 1/4 inch, but on my needle plate, it says 1/2 inch. I'm gonna line it up right there and sew all the way down. now I've made a pocket for the inside of my purse. Lay the interior pocket on top of the 6x8 lining rectangle. This is my lining. It's 6 inches by 8 inches. Lay this on top of it like this, it says. The right side of the lining rectangle should be touching the right side of the interior pocket, and the bottom and side edges should be aligned. Okay, so now we're just going to go sew all the way around. It says baste, and a basting stitch is just a longer stitch. We're just going to sew ours a little closer to the edge so that when we sew it again in a minute with a 1/4 inch seam, it won't show.
The only reason you're sewing this together right now is to make it easier to handle when you sew your bag together in a minute.
Okay, now we're going to set this to the side, and the next thing we're going to do is put our zipper in. Zippers are intimidating, but they're not actually difficult, I promise. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay, here's our lining pieces. Let's put those to the side. Now, this says if you have a zipper foot for your sewing machine, this is a good time to use it. So in this handy dandy box on the front of your sewing machine, you have a couple of things. You either have all of your tools and they're stored in there, or you have M&Ms. Both are a great idea. In mine, I have all of my feet. Sewing machine feet. So I'm going to dump it out and find my zipper foot. Your zipper foot should look similar to this. You're going to put it on your machine, and then this is narrow so that it will ride right next to your zipper. So in order to change your sewing machine feet, there's a little lever back here. If you just press it towards you, your foot falls off. And then you put your other one on, and you lower your presser foot and press that lever again, and listen, it just clicked on. It's there, easy peasy. I need to put this back in my handy dandy tool compartment, or I'll lose it. All right, the next set of instructions says, you're supposed to have a 10-inch zipper. You can use any zipper you want. If it's longer than 10 inches, you'll just cut it off, so don't worry about that. Dun, dun, dun. Do y'all remember my Stitch Supply zipper? That's the one we're using. So we've got our zipper foot on. Our set of instructions says to center our zipper on the top of our 8 by 4.5 inch zipper pocket. So my zipper's really long, but it's also has 2 zippers on it. So I'm gonna sew it on here, and then I'm just gonna cut the excess off. So all I'm doing is laying my zipper face down to the exterior pocket, just like this. I'm gonna put my zipper foot on top of it. I'm gonna stitch and back stitch all the way to the end. Easy, I promise, easy, easy. Now we've gotten here, what does it say? Center the zipper, 8 by 4.5 zipper pocket bottom of exterior fabric with the right side of the zipper touching the right side of the fabric based in place. Align the 8 by 4.5 inch zipper pocket bottom of the lining fabric with the exterior rectangle on the opposite edge of the zipper. Pin, clip, or based in place if desired. Okay, so I did not do that. I don't know why it's in 2 steps. It should have just been in 1 step. So what I would have told you to do is to place your zipper pocket side face up, your zipper face down, and your lining fabric face down also, to make like a sandwich. And you want all of your pretty sides to touch. So these 2 pretty sides are looking at each other. Can you see that? And then the pretty side of your zipper is facing the front of your bag. Because if you make the pretty side of your zipper face the inside of your bag, guess what? When you turn it, it still faces the inside of your bag. Now, I'm gonna go do what I just did. I'm gonna sew this again. Okay, now, what does it say we're supposed to do next? Open and fold the rectangles with the wrong sides of the fabric touching and the edges aligned. Press the fabrics flat and then top stitch. Okay, so you're going to top stitch right here. That's just going to keep your fabrics from crawling up and getting in your zipper. I promise you want to do this, or you'll forever be trying to pull a piece of fabric out of your zipper. So it says to iron. I'm not ironing. Y'all don't tell. All right, now, we have part of our zipper pocket done. Do you see this? That's the outside and that's the inside. Now we're supposed to do the same thing to the top, only we're going to use these smaller pieces. We're going to lay our lining side face down, and we're going to lay our outer part, make sure it's right facing the right way, face down. So we have outer part, pretty side down, pretty side of the outer fabric is facing the pretty side of the zipper, and we have the lining fabric pretty side. And this time we've just aligned it on the other side of the zipper. So we've done this side. So now you're putting your zipper sandwich together the exact same way, only on the other side of the zipper. We're going to sew that, then we're going to turn it over and top stitch it also.
I've added the link to this pattern in the caption, and y'all, it makes the cutest, most versatile bag.
Okay, now, we have put a zipper in. Do you see that? The wrong way. Now, why'd y'all let me do that? Tell me. Why did y'all let me do that? It was actually, oh, no, it is the right way. I thought this was sewn together. Okay, it is the right way. Okay, so now here's the front of our bag. You see it? And here's the inside of our bag. So we're gonna go top stitch this right here. And yes, when we're doing our zipper, we are back stitching. Okay, so now we have our zipper on. Dun, dun, dun. And I got a bunch of hairy threads in here. Be sure to cut all your threads off. It makes you look like you know what you're doing. It just makes your projects look so much nicer. Okay, so we have a zipper. Now it says, trim the zippered pocket panel, place the 8x6 lining rectangle wrong sides together. With the 8x6 exterior front back panel, lay the zippered pocket panel on top of the exterior panel and align all of the edges. Based in place, top stitch only. Okay, everything's aligned. I'm not sure why we're sewing it all the way around, but you know, maybe I should follow the pattern. That's my problem, is I'm like, that doesn't seem necessary. And then I'm back in a few minutes because it was in fact necessary. Okay, so my zipper is really long. I will tell y'all this before we decide what we're doing with this. I'm not saying we're not gonna baste it, but I'm not basting it for now. I'm gonna take one of my zippers and put it over here, and then I'm gonna cut my pocket off, just like that. You see that? Bum, bum, bum. Okay, we're gonna put that to the side. And I'm gonna use my second zipper, I think on my actual bag if it'll fit, but I'm not sure. But the zipper comes with, these Stitch Supply zippers come with 2 zippers on them. So y'all saw what I just did. Okay, prepare the panels. If you would like, you can add a bit of quilting or embroidery embellishment at the front exterior panel, baste a scrap of batting to the reverse side of the 8x6 rectangular exterior fabric. Quilt or embellish as desired, then trim the batting even with the fabric rectangle. Oh, this is the front. Yes, I definitely think we should put something right there, shouldn't we? Okay, this is my front piece. It's 8 inches by 6 inches. Remember, we made that piece, and now I'm just cutting a piece of batting, and I'm gonna quilt it. And all I'm gonna do is sew down each side of my seam, because that's what I like. But quilt it any way you like it. I'm gonna do it with my zipper foot on, because I'm gonna put a zipper in just a minute, and I don't wanna take it off and put it back on.
If you're using a solid piece of fabric, you can still quilt it, or not. That's totally up to you. My zipper started out 30 inches long, and I needed an 8-inch piece and a 14-inch piece. And my zipper had 2 zipper pulls, so I just unzipped the zipper, 1 pull in either direction, and cut my zipper off so that I could use the same zipper, 1 piece of it for each part of my bag.
All right, so this is telling you how to put 5-inch length, insert the webbing into the female end of the buckle, fold the webbing in half, and zigzag across the end. Determine how long you would like the strap on your bag to be. Trim a piece of webbing to your preferred length. Sew across one end of the trimmed webbing with a zigzag stitch to finish it. Thread the finished end onto the slide, then fold the end of the webbing over and adjust the slide so it's about 2 inches from the folded edge. Measure 1.5 inches from the top edge of the back panel on both side edges. Place the 2 ends of your straps at the marks with the right sides. Okay. Because I don't have a D-ring that's large enough, I'm just going to decide how long I want my strap, and that's how long I'm going to make it. And I think this is probably a good length. And I have no idea how long this is, but we'll measure it and I'll tell y'all. Because I really want to use this webbing. I have this webbing and D-rings that would match it, but I don't want that webbing. I want this webbing, so we're going to use it. Now, this is probably not the last one of these bags we're going to make, but it's definitely our first, and you can tell. Okay, so it says to sew the ends of your straps 1.5 inches, measure 1.5 inches from the top edge of the back panel on both side edges. Place the 2 ends of your strap at the marks with right sides together and baste into place. I guess this is the front, right? Okay, so we're gonna sew it just underneath our zipper on both sides, just like that. Make sure your strap's not twisted though. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam back stitching when you start and when you stop. And I'm not using a 1/4 inch seam because I'm using my zipper foot, but I know I have to put the rest of this zipper in a minute and I don't want to take it off and back on. Probably not a great idea, so don't do like me. sewed one end of my strap. Now let's sew the other end. Now here's the other end of my strap. We're gonna sew it right here. Okay, so I sewed both ends of my straps with the straps laying inward to the inside of the bag. See how this one is laying this away and this one is laying this away? Because when we sew our bag together in a minute, we want it to come out of the seam. So you need to make sure you lay it in this away. All right, assemble the gusset. Center the 14-inch zipper on one 2x12 top gusset rectangle. Is our zipper 14 inches? Yes, it is. Okay, 2x12 top gusset rectangle. It says to baste and then to align the interior piece and baste that. What we're gonna do is sew it all at one time. Okay, 2x12 exterior and interior. I'm just using some of this cheater print for the exterior because I didn't make another piece of patchwork, but we have our 2x12 pieces. This is not a 14-inch zipper. Y'all are gonna wanna know, this started out as a 30-inch zipper. So now I'm gonna lay the exterior piece pretty side down and the interior piece pretty side up. We want the zipper facing the exterior piece, okay? Now we're gonna sew all of this together, just like we did a minute ago. We have a zipper sandwich, the zipper in the center, our exterior fabric laying pretty side down, facing the pretty side of our zipper. And if you don't have a pretty zipper like I do, just make sure it's facing the side that has the pull on it, because it's kind of bad when your zipper ends up with a pull on the inside of your project. We've done that. Dun, dun, dun. Now we're going to fold it over and top stitch it just like we did a minute ago. And it says to iron, and absolutely you can iron if you want to. I'm not ironing, but I'm not saying it's a good idea not to iron. I'm just saying I'm not doing it. It says make the bias binding. I'm not really sure what we're making binding for, but we're gonna put that to the side. Repeat to add the remaining top gusset rectangles to the opposite side of the zipper. So now we're gonna do 2x12 on this side of the zipper. So now we're gonna do just like we did a minute ago. We're going to put the lining fabric down, our zipper on top of it, and then the exterior fabric on top of that. And this piece is too long. What happened to my 12-inch piece? Now we're gonna sew this zipper on this side on the same way.
I can't be the only person on the planet who never moves and can still lose something. Please tell me this happens to y'all too.
Dun, dun, dun. Put our zipper in. So this is our zipper for our bag. Look how cute that's gonna be. Okay, now it says, trim the ends of the zipper even with the fabric. Trim to the entire panel to 3x12. So we're gonna make sure that our zipper is in fact in here. We're just gonna cut this off even with the panel, just like it said. All right, now place the 3x14 bottom gusset rectangle of lining fabric right side up. Lay the top gusset panel you just created on top with the exterior side facing up. So complicated. I'm fairly certain we sew this together. Sew along the matched edge with a 3/8 seam allowance. Turn so the bottom gusset panels are aligned with the wrong sides of the fabric, touching, and press away from the zipper. I do not understand what is happening. Oh, okay, this is what we're doing. I do understand, I get it. Okay, so you're gonna lay your gusset lining piece face up. You're gonna lay your zipper piece with the lining facing the lining and the exterior fabric face up. Then you're gonna lay this piece face up, face down on top of it. So you have pretty side to pretty side and pretty side to pretty side. We're just making a sandwich like we did a minute ago, only this time it's gonna make the rest of our gusset. And a gusset is just what is around the outside of the bag. We're gonna start with this end down here. Now, we just have a sandwich. It said to trim it and make them all the same size. I did not trim mine. I'm not saying I'm not gonna be sorry that I didn't, but I didn't trim it. I may have to go back and trim it in just a second. All right, we're gonna sew this down right here. You're just sewing right over the top of the zipper. All right, now I'm gonna trim this off so that it's even. And you're gonna fold it in and do the same thing to this other end. You're gonna put this end together, just like this. Okay, so now we're gonna sew this down. Straight stitch just right across the zipper again. I'm gonna trim this off, and then this is what we have. we have the interior and exterior of our bag. Dun, dun, dun. So now what we're gonna do is showing how to make bias binding. We're not doing that because absolutely not. All right, mark the center of the zipper on both edges of the gusset loop. Fold the gusset loop in half and mark the bottom center along both edges. I am gonna have to trim this down to make it the same size or my bag is not going to be great. I'm gonna trim this down and I'm gonna trim this down. I'll be right back. Here is our gusset and I've marked it, I mean enough for me. Align the mark centers of the gusset loop to the mark centers of the front panel with the exterior sides touching one another. Pin or clip in place. Okay. Trim the seam allowance to a 1/4 inch and clip the curves. Sew bias binding by hand or machine and cover the seam. Okay. So all you're going to do now is sew this together. This right here, this is the inside lining, and then this is the outside. And so I'm going to sew just like this. I'm just going to sew down one side. Now, what you have is this raw edge on the inside, and that is what the bias binding is for, but we're gonna make some bias tape. And then I'm gonna come over here to the other side, and I'm gonna lay it pretty side down, just like this, and I'm gonna sew this down. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop. So this is in essence what your bag is. Oh my goodness, oh daddy, and it's not even done. Look how cute that is. Okay, so now you're just gonna go and sew this inside all the way around. This is the not fun part. So you're gonna sew it and turn it and sew it and turn it and sew it and turn it and sew it and turn it all the way around one side, and then you'll go all the way around the other side. They have a template in this pattern if you wanted to curve your corners.
The curving of the corners really isn't a suggestion. I figured that out. The gusset is not long enough to go all the way around if you don't curve the corners, so curve your corners before you start instead of mid-bag like I did. I'm not great with a pattern. It's not the terminology that I normally use. My grandmother couldn't read a pattern, and so she taught me how to muddle my way through one, but that's exactly what I do. And if you're like me and you're muddling through one, don't feel bad. It's okay, I promise.
I'm gonna come in here and round the corners. I wasn't going to, but what y'all don't see is I just took it apart because it's not big enough. The gusset is not big enough to make it all the way around if you don't round the corners. All right, we have one side done. Before I trim that off, let's turn it right side out. Oh my goodness. 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 So cute. Okay, now let's do the other side. And we're gonna have the cutest bag ever. Okay, hang on. Let's find our zipper. We do need to unzip it because, oh, I was like, what is that? But that's our pocket. I couldn't figure out why I had a piece of the zipper hanging out. Okay, now we're gonna sew this side the same way, all the way around.
And this has turned out to be the cutest bag ever. I am so proud of it.
Okay, our bag is done. Now, what we're gonna do is is add bias tape to cover all of our raw edges on the inside. But this tutorial has been 747 years long. Maybe not in your time, but 100% in my time. So y'all meet me back here and we'll add the bias tape. For now, I'm gonna go enjoy my bag with no bias tape on the inside. Look how cute this is. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.